NHL regular season recap, night 180. A ton of super important games tonight. We kick it off with the Red Wings hosting the Montreal Canadiens, the first half of their home and home. And of course, the Red Wings desperately looking for 2 points tonight. But in the first period, it's the Habs that come away with the lead. It's Gallagher, Barron, and Comfer all scoring in the span of 4 minutes to make it 2-1 Habs after one. And they take a 4-2 lead in the second. It's Harvey Pinard, Gallagher, and then Comfer with his second of the game. And we head to the third, the Wings trailing by 2, desperately needing at very least to bring this to overtime. And in that third period, it's their big guys, Alex DeBrincat and Lucas Raymond, both scoring their 27th and 30th to tie us up at 4. And in the overtime, who but Lucas Raymond once again wins it 5-4 for the Wings. Montembeault was good, 30 of 35. Lyon was a bit worse, 17 of 21, but just good enough for the W here. A huge one, 5-4 for the Wings in OT. The next of the big games, the Predators visiting Pittsburgh, a game that Pittsburgh absolutely has to win. They're a point behind each of Washington, Detroit, and Philadelphia to start the evening, and it's who but Sidney Crosby, his 42nd of the year on the power play, opens the scoring 7 minutes into the first. Erik Karlsson makes it a 2-0 game with his 11th of the year at the 13:50 mark, but the Preds try to bring it back in the second. Gustav Nyquist making it a 2-1 game before Riley Smith can extend the lead to 3-1 about a minute later, but before the period wraps up, Philip Forsberg, with his 48th of the year, chasing that 50 mark, makes it a 1-goal game headed to the third. But in the third, the Preds unable to tie it back up. It's Emil Benstrom making it a 4-2 game, and Alex Nedeljkovic and the Pens defense hangs on the rest of the way. It's a 4-2 victory for them, a must-win, absolutely, with the other teams winning tonight. So good to see that from Pittsburgh. Nettie hangs on, and it's a solid game from him, 28 of 30 for a 933. UC Saros was a bit busier, 34 of 38 for an 895. I thought he had a solid game, just not quite enough goal support, and it's a huge win for the Penguins. We'll see if they can hang on tomorrow, of course, kind of in the Capitals' hands, and we'll talk about that game next. The Caps hosting the Boston Bruins, a game that did not look to be very in their favor. They are the home team, but Boston, of course, the better of these two teams, at least on paper. But Washington, I thought, did a fantastic job limiting Boston's chances. They only get 16 shots in the game, 4 in each of the first 2, 8 in the third. It was a bit of a scrambly third period for Washington, getting outshot 8-3, but they dominated the second period, and I thought did a good job hushing the Bruins in the first. John Carlson, with his 10th of the year, is the only goal that gets past Jeremy Swayman. He goes 23 of 24, and Nick Dowd, with 13 seconds to go in the third, made it a 2-0 victory with the empty netter. Charlie Lindgren, perfect 16 for 16 in a game where he had to be pretty good. He had a lot of good saves here despite only facing the 16 shots, and now the Caps completely control their destiny with a win in Philadelphia tomorrow. They clinch that last wildcard spot in the East thanks to this 2-0 victory over Boston. The Devils hosting the New York Islanders, who have a chance to clinch with a victory in this one, and they take care of business against a New Jersey team that really didn't have anything to play for. Pageau and Palmieri both scoring for the Isles in the first, making it 2-0 after one. Timo Meier would make it a 1-goal game 3.5 minutes into the second, but from there, the Isles take back over. It's Brock Nelson's 33rd of the year, making it a 3-1 game, and then in the third, McLean's 4th of the season makes it 4-1. Semyon Varlamov continues to look like the number one guy heading into the playoffs for the Islanders, which is so weird to say considering they have Ilya Sorokin, but he goes 23 of 24, 958 save percentage, continues to just be very, very strong for them. And for Jake Allen, not a great night. The Devils actually limited the Islanders to less than 20 shots, but he gives up 4 on 19, for a 789 save percentage and the loss in this one. And of course, the Islanders now clinching, and I believe they cannot be caught for that final wildcard spot. So a big win for them, or for the final divisional spot, So big win for them. They clinch a spot. They'll probably end up playing Carolina in round 1. Congratulations to the Islanders. 4-1 over New Jersey. All right, most of the important games aside here, the Sabres visiting Tampa Bay, and the Sabres actually similar spot to New Jersey here, not really playing for too much, but they take care of the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's a 4-2 final. Dylan Cousins a minute and a half into the first, Stamkos a second from Cousins, and Jordan Greenway in the second, and then Chernak and Benson trading goals about 15 seconds apart at the halfway point of the third to make it a 4-2 game. Eric Comrie actually gets the W in this one. He was pretty solid, 31 of 33 and 939. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen him. And Andrei Vasilevsky, 30 of 34. I didn't think he had a bad game, but not quite good enough to get it done here. This game, again, not really meaning all too much for either team. The Lightning are stapled into that wild card 1 spot, and the Buffalo Sabres, of course, not making the playoffs here. So a good game for Buffalo. They find a way to get it done when they're not really playing for anything. Once again, it's like the 17th time I've said that anyway. 4-2 Buffalo here over Tampa Bay. The Rangers hosting the Ottawa Senators, and they, like the other teams here, take care of business tonight. Shesterkin, 26 of 26. Roslovic in the first. Fox, shorthanded in the second. And then Panarin and Lafreniere with their 49th and 28th in the third make it a 4-0 final here for the Ottawa Senators. And net, if my computer would stop freezing up here. Jonas Korpisalo, 30 of 34, sub 900, once again for about the 1,000th time this season. Not able to get the W, but of course, no goal support does not help that. It's a pretty quick and easy win for the Rangers, 4-0 over Ottawa. The Oilers taking on the San Jose Sharks, and after having some pretty good games, Devin Cooley in this one, not so great. I know it's the Oilers, I get it, but a .636 save percentage, 14 of 22 in the losing effort. Not a great night from him. 4 goals in the first for the Oilers. McDavid, Henrique, Foegele, and Holloway all scoring. In the second, it's Gushchin scoring his first NHL goal from Bordelot. And then it's Oilers all over again. Foegele, Perry, Ceci, Bouchard, and Hyman. And on that Hyman goal, McDavid hits assist number 100. Fabian Zetterlund scores in the third to make it 9-2. At least you only lost by 1 touchdown, not a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, I guess. But nonetheless, not a very good night for San Jose. Getting absolutely curb stomped by the Edmonton Oilers, who have obviously a very good offense. But this is not it, man. Not it at all. Outshot 39-21. Stu Skinner, 19 of 21 for his shots again. Cooley gives up 8 on 22. And of course, in relief, I don't even know who played. I guess who I don't even know who their backup was. I'm not gonna lie. Krona? Did Vanacek finally play? I don't know. I don't know. 9-2 Oilers. The LA Kings taking on the Minnesota Wild in our final game of the night here. And the Wild actually get it done for a game that has no stakes for them. Boldy, his 29th in the first. Hartman's 21st in the second. And then Kaprizov with his 45th in the third makes it 3-0. Blake Lizotte would ruin the shutout bid for Philip Gustafsson to make it a 3-1 game. But Gustafsson was otherwise quite good. 23 of 24, a .958 save percentage. Talbot, meanwhile, didn't face a ton of shots, but only 25 of 28 for an .893 in the losing effort. The Kings now in danger of falling behind Vegas. We'll see what happens in their next game. I believe it's against the Ducks or the Blackhawks or something like that. So 2 pretty easy teams for Vegas. Very capable of collecting 4 points over the course of those 2 games. So LA, we'll see. I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're playing a great team one way or another here. But tonight, falling to Minnesota 3-1. And that is it for the final game of NHL regular season recap, night 180. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Some massive games. If the Caps win, they're in. The Penguins need some help Wednesday to get in. The Red Wings need to take care of Montreal for the second time in 2 nights. It's going to be a good night. We'll talk to you guys then.